I'm just going to say it now, this is a Doom the Dark Ages review, from someone who loves video games and Doom games. I'll go ahead and tell you what I thought about the game. I loved it. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. If that's all you came here for, there you go, you got what you came here for. If you came here expecting me to hate on it though, then you're out of luck. Please leave the video and watch someone else hate on it. But if you're here to listen to a lunatic talk about a new video game that they love and hear them give honest criticism and feedback towards it with an in-depth review, then you, my friend, are in the right place. But anyways, enough yapping, we are getting straight into it.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doom Slayer.
The game opens with some text, essentially talking about how the demons invaded Earth and how the Slayer came to be. They were hyping him up, giving him a talk in the mirror. You got it in you, man. You got it in you. Then we cut to demons slaughtering a city. Get out! We see two goobers on a hilltop, thinking they're the main characters. That's not you, pal. That's not you. This one is the priest. You don't really gotta worry about him. He doesn't do too much in this game. But then you got the witch, who is basically the second antagonist. These two are up here chit-chatting it up, talking about how they're going to find the heart of Argent to cause some nefarious shenanigans. How? I don't know, bro. Like, geez, calm down. Wait for a bit, man. You'll see soon enough. You'll see soon enough. Then they start yapping about how they better hurry or else the humans will send him. Here's how you know it's bad, is when you have another magical species of creatures uttering a man's name, calling you him. Like Doomslayer is just that guy. Anywho, we're then quickly introduced to King Novik, who is essentially the leader of the Sentinels, and calls most of the shots. He then contacts his daughter, Commander Thera, who will also be super important, and we'll get to that later. Novik asks Thera to pretty please check to see if the Slayer is ready to be launched into the stratosphere. But she can't check to see if the Slayer is ready. She first has to contact Bishop Creed. This thing. He's basically the leader of these makers who are actually in an alliance with the humans. Essentially, the makers are mind controlling the Slayer and hold control over him, but use him when people are in dire need. And this is one of those moments, so the makers prepare the Slayer for combat. First side note of the video, can we admire the drip, the pure unfiltered metal look of this man? Like, spiked shoulder pads, jagged armor, a fur cape, brother. Is this practical? Nah, but this is also Doom, the franchise where practicality and realism are thrown out of the window for pure, unfiltered metal. And I rock with that. But anywho, the Slayer jumps off of the battle bus, and this is where the fun begins. We drop down and only have the combat shotgun and shield to our name. Our goal in this mission is to protect the city from the demons at all costs. Now, quick background info for how I did this run. I'm no goofy goober. For my first time playing this game, I pulled out my big boy britches and said, nah, to the normal difficulty, and dialed it up to Nightmare. Then I beat the game. Then I played it on Pandemonium, and beat the game. And then Ultra Nightmare. In total, I've beaten this game 8 consecutive times on every difficulty with no sliders, including Ultra Nightmare. I was feeling a bit spicy, a bit rambunctious even. But so, in the beginning of the level, you just go through and take out demon scum and just absolutely obliterate them. Thankfully, even on Nightmare, on the first level, it was pretty forgiving. But then you run into your first demon that you can perform a glory kill on. Oh, sorry, I mean glory strike. Yeah, glory strike. I've been seeing people complain about the glory strike system and how it's not as good as glory kills. And yeah, it may not be as flashy, but you can still make them flashy by performing it from a certain angle. And plus, glory strikes don't pause the game like the glory kills do, so it gives you no time to breathe to perform them, allowing you to strategize more, make big brain plays. So, personally, I don't mind them. But we get back to chopping demons, and then we get our first new weapon, that being the Power Gauntlet, aka the Fist of Justice. Listen, man, I'm tired right now. I'm recording this at like, what is it? 12:14 a.m. after working pretty much the whole day. I'm sick right now, so just release me. In this game, you'll pretty much be periodically given weapons and then features as you progress in different levels, so that way you can build up your arsenal and you're not absolutely insane from the get-go. But then after we get our new toy, we skedaddle, kill some more demons, get a cool glow stick blue key, and unlock a gate. We then fight a horde of demons to try and destroy a spooky portal. And in this arena is where the parrying system really shines. I've also seen people complain about the system, saying that it gets repetitive, boring, honk shoe type of beat. But I am utterly appalled by these statements. I don't agree, nor do I condone. I don't think that the parrying system really makes you use your dome rather than just mindlessly shoot and tank everything. I think it makes for a way more interesting gameplay loop, and I'll talk more about that as the video goes on, but you get the gist. You gotta time enemy attacks perfectly for when you block them with the shield, and if you time it right, then you'll get rewarded by stunning the enemy. Very simple concept, very demure, very mindful. I've always been a big fan of parrying, so this is right up my alley. We then destroy another portal and gain another gun, the Shredder. Okay, I'ma be real for a second. I despise this gun with every bone in my body. Like, I feel like when I shoot this thing, it's like shooting marshmallows. Like, I can't be the only one that thinks this, right? Because, I'ma be real, I almost never use this gun again in the whole playthrough. But then we destroy the remaining 2 portals, allowing us to enter the gate. But then we get the word that a Titan has been summoned, which may not sound good. And you'd be wrong, cause however bad you think it is, multiply it by 50, double it, give it to the next person, cause that is what these guys look like, and how big they are in comparison. We are so cooked, chat. Anyways, we take out some demons, and now it's time to take out the Titan with a mounted turret. And my goodness, I struggled with this part for some reason. Like, I kept dying to these stupid exploding demons. But eventually, we kill the Titan, and all is saved. Hip hip hooray! But then we get recalled by the makers after the job is done. Then we get more exposition from King Novik about how the makers must have a leash on the Slayer, as they felt that if he was roaming around, serving judgment as he saw fit, then there would be major consequences. I'ma just say it now. If the Slayer was free, then we would be doing even better, but that's just me, man. That's just me. Then we cut to Hell, where we see Prince Azric, our main antagonist for the game. Dang, bro, you got that big forehead. We get more glazing from the priest about how strong the Slayer is, and we finally get to hear what Prince Azric's goal is. He wants the Heart of Argent for ultimate power. You know how it is, classic villainy. But apparently, Prince Azric has captured a human who knows the whereabouts of this item, and used his wife as a bargaining chip. So now, we might be kinda cooked. We open seeing a sentinel outpost on the planet of Hebeth being absolutely cooked. But not to worry, the Creedmaker's ship is here to provide, bringing in the big guns. But oh no, golly gee willikers, the demons are targeting the Sentinel's energy core thing, which is holding their walls together and keeping the demons out, which means that before long, the Sentinels might be doomed. We see the Slayer, tweaking and geeking, and having random memory flashes, allowing him to break from the Maker's control for a moment, until he gets packed up again. The Slayer then gets launched and we begin to rip and tear. We then get our first upgrade of this chapter, that being the Shield Saw, which allows you to absolutely obliterate the weakling demons and essentially dissect the big boys. We then proceed to run through thousands of demons and make our way to the Sentinel Shrine, a mechanic where you give them money and they upgrade your abilities. It's actually a super cool mechanic. I honestly am a huge fan. We then go rummaging around and find a blue key that we need for like 7 billion other doors in this level, but then I find my first toy of the game. And that made me realize that every single secret in Chapter 1 I missed, and every other secret before this point in Chapter 2 I've also missed. I'll manage. I'm one of those people who actually actively go out of their way in a game to 100% it. That means all collectibles, all wraps, all codexes, and do I read them all? Nah. Do I collect them anyways just to say that I did? Yes, sir. But we then continue into a room to fight a bunch of goofs. And we then get a new weapon, the Accelerator. Now, I also rarely ever use this weapon, not because it was bad like the Shredder, but just because it wasn't as good as the other weapons to me. This is a pattern you'll notice a lot with how I played Doom the Dark Ages, which is a strategy I could not relate to at all with Eternal. In Eternal, I used every gun at my disposal. I feel like a true American. That's not to bash Dark Ages. I like most of these weapons. It's just that with the playstyle, some of these felt a little, irrelevant. But a door opens and we start ripping and tearing, killing, slaughtering. The vibes were there. I was just having a dandy time, but then I got my first proper boss fight, that being the armored Pinky Rider. Not gonna lie, even on Nightmare, it was kinda easy. Maybe that was intentional, but nonetheless, something I gotta give this game is that the style and art direction is actually so insanely cool. Like, how did we not get a Doom game like this until now? The drip that these guys have almost makes me want to not kill them as much. After that, we see the Atlan mech, the thing that the trailers were hyping up so much. I was fiending to control this thing, and fighted it. And my time was now. I was about to roast these guys. We enter the Atlan mech and power it up, give it a little juice, a little boost. We exit the hangar and jump off the platform, and the first thing you notice when you play as this thing is, my goodness, they are great at scaling the environments the size of the mech. Like, there's these buildings and stuff that you'd be able to walk through on foot as the Slayer, that now you can destroy the mech because there's destructible environments. So peak. So peak. You then run into the first goon, a Titan, and so you run a fade and serve up the two-piece combo. I'm gonna be real right now from the get-go. The Atlan mech sections are actually really fun. It was a big complaint for people, and that it brought down the gameplay to a snail's pace. But me personally, I loved it, man. The combat is fun, it's demanding of your full attention, and it's a nice switch up from the normal combat and makes the game feel even more unique. And this convinces me that we need some kind of giant mech game, cause holy moly, this was entertaining. After we demolish a whole generation of Titans, King Nova gives us an early birthday present, that being a giant machine gun for the Atlan mech. Brother, you can't make this stuff up. See, only a game like Doom could pull stuff like this off. It makes zero sense, would not be practical, and would be whack if any other franchise did it. But when Doom does it, nah, that's just a normal Tuesday, my guy. And I love the part of Doom, how they can just get away with adding the weirdest stuff and it makes perfect sense. But anyways, enough yapping. We then mow through another generation of Titans and proceed to take some sort of power core out of a reactor thing. Because that power core is essentially a nuke. So we ball, we run with it, beat up some Titans, run with it, clock a few more Titans, and then the big boy. He strolls up and we clock it, and then we get rid of the explosive in a super crazy way. It's such a Doom way of doing things, I'm just gonna shut up and show you the cutscene. So after that, Thera picks us up from certain annihilation, and we get the news that our plan worked. The transdimensional portal's closed, making the demons helpless essentially. However, the Bishop Creed is demanding an immediate report, and she says, nah. Then we cut to that human guy who is trying to find the Heart of Argent for Prince Azaric. He finds it and he asks Azaric to please let his Pookie Bear at ease, and he leaves him on red. We see the Slayer protecting the Sentinel barracks. From what? Chill, Brody, chill. I'll tell you in a minute. Then King Novik receives a hologram video from that guy who told Azaric where the Heart of Argent is. And the dude tells King Novik that he told Azaric, but that he didn't tell him how to open it. And he also told Novik that it was really powerful. And then, Zoink Scoob, the barracks have been infiltrated. So you know what that means. Our goal is just to simply destroy the demons and defend the barracks by going around just obliterating them. We get another new toy, that being the Skull Crusher Pulverizer. I actually really enjoyed this weapon, but is it the best? No. Did I rarely use it? Yeah. But for what it was and the purpose it was meant to serve, I quite enjoyed it actually. And in the early game, I actually used the Combat Shotgun Accelerator and Skull Crusher all a relatively decent amount. But as you'll see later, once I get one weapon in particular, I pretty much stop using any other weapon aside from a few. Once I get my grimy hands on that gun, the rest are cooked, deep fried, boiled, broiled, and roasted, pal. But the gimmick of the Skull Crusher is that it crushes up skulls and shoots skull fragment projectiles that are meant to sweep and cover a wide radius. And once again, this is what I mean by things that only Doom could get away with. What other game on the planet do you think could name something the Skull Crusher Pulverizer? Use human skulls as ammo, that shoot out shards of that skull that impale enemies and have a wide spread. Go ahead and comment. I'll wait. Nothing? That's right, you can't think of anything. We then demolish more Martian bloodlines and run into a Hell Knight hallway. And let me just say right now, I love when Doom the Dark Ages does stuff like this, where they put like 15 more powerful demons of the same species in a condensed hallway or location. It's such a goofy small little thing, but it gives the game more character. Makes it a little more funsies. You know the deal. And there's a lot of stuff like this even later in the game, especially with Hell Knights. They love using Hell Knights for this stuff. We then complete the goal of defending the barracks, and we drop down into a cave looking area, and we get our next addition to the arsenal, the Impaler. I honestly don't know what people think about this weapon, but me personally, I absolutely adore it. Precision-based, high-power, damage-dealing weapons are some of my favorites, and having something like the Impaler where it takes even more accuracy because there's crazy bullet drop is so insanely fun to use. This weapon was probably my second most used gun. Completed mastery for it and all. Used every upgrade that the Sentinel Shrines provided for it. Maxed it out by like chapter 10 or something like that, I don't even know. It was insane the way I was moving. At least with this thing anyways. We then continue wiping out these goofballs, and are now about to enter our first really big fight. But before we do that, I find a life sigil, which I should probably talk about what those are. Essentially, if you die, you can respawn right where like you were, right then and there if you choose to, but you can only carry a max of 3 at a time. It's a cool mechanic, I mess with it. I probably wasn't smart with how to use them, since like anytime I die, I would just decide to use it anyways. Eventually though, near the end of the game, I actually grew a brain and started using them correctly. But it's not like the game hinges on them exactly. You can just kind of use them whenever you want. Anywho, we fight and we kill the leader Mancubus, which in doing so gives us a bigger shield cap. I actually love this mechanic eliminating leaders, which in turn upgrades your health, shield, ammo, or all the above. Is actually really clever. And also the animation is just dope. We then scurry along and grab some rubies to use in the Sentinel Shrine, eliminate some more baddies, and then we run into him. The first time I ran into this man, I kept dying and dying to him, over and over again. He wasn't even that difficult later on. Maybe they just juiced him up or something on this level, but I couldn't beat him. Then we fight the Vagary champion, and I don't know why or how, but somehow I beat him on my first try. But yet, I kept losing to this singular Goofer Trooper. How? Like, genuinely how? Anywho, we kill him, and we walk through these gates, and see this. Oh yeah.
I like where this is going.
We enter the dragon lair, and we got these two goobers fighting over us. Ladies, one at a time, please. Then my goat, my G, the absolute legend, Surratt shows up. I'm not gonna hold you, this is one of my new favorite characters in the franchise. A dragon, like that's how you know Surratt is goated like that. But we run into a Titan in Surratt the Godzilla special. I'm gonna be real again, people also be hating on the dragon sections of the game, but I don't get the hate for it either. Like, is it as good as the normal gameplay? Obviously not. But once again, I appreciate it for what it is and what it's doing, and I think it does a phenomenal job at doing that thing. I know what I said probably didn't make any sense, but you feel me. The shooting is clean, the dodging is nice, everything just works for this section for me, especially the mobility. Like, it's always so seamless and so smooth. But we take out some goofy demon turrets and some ships. Eliminating the ship is always really fun, even though it was never a requirement. I always would, kill one if I saw it, just because of how clean it was. But then we land, open a gate for Surratt, and hop back on and catch up with the Sentinels. We're all flying, we're all soaring, having a good time. And then we get to this part of the level. My goodness, I love this part of the level. Essentially, what you do is you have to shoot down ships, land on them, and eliminate the enemy and destroy their reactor thing from the inside, which will bring the force field down for the cathedral. It's like peanut butter and jelly, with how seamless the gameplay and transitions are. You're flying, then you're on the ground. It's just smooth. Fight me if y'all disagree. I'll throw hands. Hit him with the
Why I oughta.
But in this level, we also get introduced to the empowered demons, and these dudes are not something to mess with. Like, if you run into these guys, you should always go for the leader, which will disable the effects on the rest of them, making it light work. No reaction. Pack it up, boys. Then we get our next addition to the arsenal. My favorite and by far most used weapon of the game for me, the super shotgun. Like, what else were you guys expecting? It's the super shotgun, literally like the most OP weapon in Doom gameplay history. Literally as soon as I could, I maxed out all levels on this gun. I wasn't playing. Literally this and the Impaler were pretty much the only guns I needed in the entire game. Not even playing. Once again, the other guns have their moments. Their time to shine. Their main character moments. Except the Shredder. But we rip and tear the enemies apart, and we continue demolishing their fleets. And eventually, I land on a certain platform. This has these challenges where you can fight hordes of demons if you decide to challenge it. And it will reward you with a toy, paint, sigil, or gold. This is also a super cool mechanic. Honestly, it feels like something I have to do anytime I see one. As someone who always tries 100%ing the game, it always feels right to accept these challenges. Plus, it's just a blast to try and demolish these guys. We then take down more ships, take down a Titan, and continue on our merry way. Now this is when things get a little interesting, little mischievous, little whimsical, because now we're pretty much introduced to the swimming mechanic, which I thought would be more of a one-off, but turns out it's a bigger part of the game than I initially thought. I don't think it's inherently bad by any means, just an interesting move on id Software's side. But nonetheless, we swim, do a thing, and hop back on Surratt to blow this popsicle stand. Then boom, we take down another ship and take down some more demon goons. Then,
Oh me, oh my! Is that a blue keycard?
So we snatch that and do some exploring. The city is in shambles. It ain't looking too hot. The population is decimated. and it doesn't help that we run into a Hell Knight in actual armor, which, might I add, is actually insanely cool that is on the armor. But anyways, we kill him, we blow up the ship and take down a goofy tentacle thing. Then we blow up another tentacle. You get the point. It sounds repetitive with how I'm describing it, but trust me, it is not whatsoever. Don't listen to those rapscallions who tell you that it's repetitive, because they are liars. Anywho, we get another new toy, the Cycler. For what it is, it was pretty cool. I appreciate the system where you can cycle between two different guns sharing the same ammo type. It made for convenient combat and smooth gameplay, but once again, it comes back to this. Did I ever use it? No, not really. But when I did, it was actually really nice. And for what it is, the Cycler was useful in, certain moments. But we wipe the Goof Troop squad and blow up their ship and head over to the cathedral to make an amazing landing for the Huzz. Then there's a big fight, and we finally run into Prince Azric, and I say,
You don't want to tussle with the muscle, pal.
And I proceed to get blocked because of my rizzy statement. Man, I fumbled the bag. Then Azric is about to enter a force field that contains the Heart of Argent, which is not great. But then, the GOAT, King Novik, shows up to deliver a real beatdown, and the disrespect this man has. So then, Novik orders these spooky charges to be detonated on the city. It begins to blow up, the Slayers are called by the Creed Bishop, and Novik escapes with the Heart of Argent, and Azric and the Witch teleport away from the destruction of the city. We open with the base being evacuated, with Novik and Thera having a little chit-chat, and apparently Novik is deciding to hold onto the heart until they get to a vault. Thera recommends that the Slayer should guard it, but no! Novik knows that makes too much sense. It can't work! We cut to the Creed Bishop ship, where the Makers are chatting with Bishop Creed, and apparently the demons are on their way, and are about to attack the city. And the Makers recommend that they launch the Slayer immediately. But then Bishop Creed says, But what about me? And the Slayer starts having visions, and the mind control effect is starting to wear off again, clearly showing that he is starting to become resilient to the effects of the Makers. And once again, he breaks free from their control, and the Makers try restraining him once again, but this time he breaks free. He's free from the Matrix. The Matrix, Batman! Why are they so serious? And now the Slayer is trying to remove the system placed in his chest plate that is the source of the Maker's control, but the energy that it's dispersing is extremely powerful, so Bishop Creed orders that they turn off the system in his chest plate, just so that way he doesn't nuke everyone on the ship out of existence. He begins trying to break out of his containment, and the Makers ask Bishop Creed if they should terminate him, but Bishop responds with,
It would appear that the Slayer no longer wishes to be detained here.
Shield power down to 35%.
Should we terminate his life functions?
And destroy the Conmaker's prized possession.
34.
So long as he has that tether on him,
33.
we can still have a hand in his fate.
Kinda suspicious if you ask me.
We then see Prince Azric's fleet approaching the city, ready for battle, and Novik sounds the alarms and prepares to fight. Brother, what are you going to do against them? Like, actually, unless you have 50 other Atlan mechs, I don't know what. What are you guys going to do? Then Bishop Creed decides to launch the Slayer into battle, but in return asks for the Sentinels to help protect them for reassurance. Then the energy shield is deployed to reassure that the base is protected, but they weren't expecting the enemy fleet to be this large, so now it's up to the Slayer to help and try to solve this mess and protect the Heart of Argent. We get our next toy to play with, the Flail, and I gotta say this is by far my favorite melee weapon to use out of the three. And you may be asking, well, what's the third? And to that I say, chill bro, relax, we got time. This first fight was so incredibly fun, and I just love using the Flail. It was so satisfying to use and to attack enemies with. I legit loved every second of it, and it was just an amazing weapon. 10 out of 10, no notes. Positive review. But so we win that fight and continue on to destroy more enemy portals to ensure the cities are safe. And we then fight the Cyber Demon. And let me just say right now, these guys were one of my absolute favorites to fight in this entire game. And trust me, this game mastered the combat. But fighting the Cyber Demons was always such a treat with how the gameplay style and strategy was executed. It was so well crafted and had so much care and flavor that even Gordon Ramsay would be proud. But we kill the Cyber Demon, pull some levers, and end up in a swamp. And from there, there's these huge, there's a huge brawl, and it's actually kind of insane. Honestly, one of the most memorable fights in the whole entire game, in my opinion, and something I haven't praised this game enough for, is the atmosphere and how the environmental storytelling really gets to shine. Plus, there's a ton of Easter eggs that longtime fans will surely appreciate. But we destroy another portal, and we continue on our insane, high-stakes, intense adventure, and I eventually get the Doomslayer toy action figure. If you think I'm gonna tell you where this is, then nah. Prepare to be disappointed, cause I ain't helping y'all. You guys just need to play the game for yourself if you somehow already haven't. Top 3 game of the year, just saying it now. But I go on a bit of a side quest for some extra collectibles, cause I'm just that guy. And I take out some more scallywags on the way. We begin trying to destroy the rest of the portals, but before we can do that, we gotta solve a few puzzles.
Hey guys, can you see the hot metal chain lock? When you see it, say hot metal chain lock!
We then get our next weapon, called the Chain Shot. And this was probably my 3rd or 4th most used weapon, because this was a heavy damage dealer that was great for random surprise attacks or for breaking enemy armor. Or if you just needed to get some heavy damage output, it was honestly a good plan B or C when something didn't go my way. We then destroy the final 2 portals, eliminating the threat of every enemy! Nope! Some random NPC had to have his main character moment and make the human race go extinct. Thanks, random guy. You're so helpful. Our mission for this chapter? Missions are for chumps. I'm an American! So yeah, we kill the Titan and we continue to move around the city to protect any remaining survivors. We find a bunch of secret stuff like toys, paint for guns, gold, life sigils, codexes, the whole song and dance. And we do all of this while moving through the city, on what is possibly a sunny Wednesday afternoon, while slaughtering demons relentlessly. Truly peak gaming. We continue on, we get to what is essentially the big final battle of this chapter. Almost every chapter has a big final battle to end it, so it's more memorable, it's more special, it's got more pizzazz. And I haven't talked about it a ton yet, because I've been waiting for the right opportunity for a final battle to happen, but man, the shield is one of, if not the best part of this game, at least gameplay wise in my opinion. Obviously, Doom Eternal wasn't melee-centric at all, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Doom Eternal is my favorite game in the franchise, still to this day, but I'm so incredibly glad they decided to run, skedaddle even, with the idea of a melee-centric combat system. Once again, the parrying system is so incredibly smooth and clean in this game, you have no earthly clue, any semblance, a smidgen of an idea of how amazing it feels to parry attacks. And the shield saw throw? Second best part of the gameplay. I don't care what you subjectively think is true, because you are objectively wrong if you disagree with me. That throwing the shield is amazing. It is so smooth, which made for absolute peak combat. But after the big fight, we rush into a big old tower and we see Azric absolutely disrespecting King Novik, being a not so nice guy. Here's my question. Call me an idiot, but I have a legit question here. Why did King Novik not evacuate? Like, he had the Heart of Argent and he knew how important it was, so why did he not leave? Or at the very least, ship off the heart with someone else? The Slayer could single-handedly take out the entire enemy army. Like Novik, as much as I love you, man, you're not that guy. But the Slayer breaks in, and this coward, this goober, this silly Billy, Prince Azric, has the witch get a cheap shot on the Slayer to save himself, Like, bro, if the witch wasn't here, then I can guarantee you that Azric would have been dead right after this. And don't say, oh, but Pojo, that's a spoiler. No, it's not. Buddy, there's 22 chapters in this game, and we're currently on Chapter 7. Chapter 7. My goodness, this is going to be a long video. Y'all are lucky I'm doing all this. But the witch launches the Slayer off the top of the castle, and then Azric proceeds to snatch the heart of Argent away from Novik, like an adult taking away a child's favorite toy. And Azric opens it and sees that it's empty, and he gets a little angry.
Grr! Novik, where is my blunt?
Haha, this army.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And Doomslayer says his only line of dialogue in the entire game to King Novik. I think it might just be better if I play the scene, so here you go. We then cut to a yap sesh between Thera and a Sentinel Goober, just chatting about how if they remove the tether from a Slayer, that would be going directly against the Maker's wishes. Thera walks in on the Slayer trying to remove the tether, and she gives him the word that if he removes it, there's a detonator inside, I guess. But the Slayer remains very calm, very demure. Thera tells the Slayer about how anyone who wields the power of the Heart of Argent is immense with their power level. So much, in fact, that the person who wields it might even be stronger than the Slayer. Gasp! If that Goofer Trooper lays his hands on my Pookie Bear, Slayer, why I oughta... But Thera spills the beans about how the heart is incomplete, meaning that Azric still can't use the power, because apparently there's two parts of the heart. The not-so-base news, however, is that we don't know where the second half of the heart is, or what it even is. But still, my boy is calm, silent, demure even. He's a real man. Then we cut to Bishop Creed's ship, and we see a Maker drone taking out other drones.
Great googly moogly!
Turns out it's just Azric being his
Silly old self.
possessing a Maker drone and wanting to be heard by Bishop Creed. Azric says,
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Azric proceeds to yap the night away about how the Makers are powerless and how they're stranded and So Bishop Creed shoots him and is kinda spooked by the level of factoids that Azric was spitting. So Azric was playing 3D chess and planted a seed in Bishop Creed's head to try and start a little alliance. Some might even say a deadly alliance. Slayer gets dropped off in the Abyssal Forest and his mission is to make it to the Forge. We take out some rapscallions, open a gate, and we're on our merry way. Pardon me for a moment, but something I have to mention that immediately stuck out to me is the absence of Mick Gordon in the music department. I don't know the specifics, I don't know why he's not composing for this game, but his absence is for sure felt. Like, the music is on the verge of being on that same level as 2016 and Eternal, but it's just not quite there. The music is solid for sure, but for Doom standards it's honestly a little disappointing, but that's a super niche thing, so it ain't nothing but a thing. But then we keep chopping down the enemy and open another gate. We then head down to an elevator and get a brand new toy, the grenade launcher. Out of all the weapons, this one was honestly one of the most underwhelming to me. Once again, all of these weapons have their, own time to shine. Except for the Shredder. But the grenade launcher is a fun weapon nonetheless. But then we run into the most difficult demon in the game that isn't considered a boss fight. That being the Agadon Hunter. Weirdly enough, I have not died to this guy before in the Dark Ages, and that's saying a lot since I've played this game 8 times now as of recording this, and I'm currently on my... Brother, I'm on my 9th run of this game. I might be addicted, honestly. Am I? Nah. I can quit when I want. Yeah. I can quit when I want. We ball! We beat the Agadon Hunter, we celebrate, and now we open big spooky gates. We enter the forge, and bruh, you can tell that this place be smelling musty, bro. Like it probably be smelling almost as bad as you, bro. Like, dog, stop watching this video and take a shower already, bro. I know I call you lacking, but, you know, before you go to take a shower, would you mind liking the video? So we take care of the demons and flip a random switch, which powers something. I don't know, bro, I just work here, man. Like, dang! But we gotta flip 2 more of these, like, switches. So we go through and take out a vagary and some revenants, and then bam, we flip the last 2 switches and we continue on our merry way. Blissful, chill even. Then this Agadon demon shows up out of nowhere and decides that, nah, we can't leave just yet. This level is also where we're introduced to these wolf-like ruins, or I should say, something like that, I don't know. When I realized they existed, but if you destroy a certain amount of them, then you can get a pretty cool rock for upgrading your weapons. Yeah, I don't know why the Sentinels were so into rocks for upgrading weapons, but hey, I'm not complaining. This is also the level where I've now maxed out my super shoddy, and when I, you know, about maxed out the Impaler. But then we enter a door, head down an elevator. Man, this game really likes their elevators like a lot. And we clear out a couple of rooms and enter a huge room with Thera. We then take another. Bro, how many elevators is this? You know what? We're starting an elevator counter right now. And instead of counting every previous elevator, we're only counting them from here on out for the rest of this video. So, future Pojo, start the counter at 1 elevator, please. But, I guess leave a comment for however many elevators you'll think will go on or something. You know, you could also subscribe. Mr. John Doom places a shield in a pool of water, and Thera proceeds to give the water magical properties because turns out she has the power of the Wraiths and is secretly the second half of the key for the Heart of Argent. Somehow. But so then Thera gives our shield powers, basically unlocking a new feature shown as runes. Shield runes basically act like perks for your shield almost when you parry. So if you parry an attack you have a certain rune equipped, then it will have a certain effect on your opponents. Pretty simple concept. So we wipe the floor with these goobers and we keep trekking on. We open with the Slayer entering, and we see Azric and Mr. Fatman talking about the new discoveries with Thera's powers and how she is a descendant of the Wraiths. Azric can be found in his fortress in Hell. The Bishop Creed is acting like a D1 snitch and is offering the locations of Thera and the Slayer to Azric as an alliance. Then the witch gives Azric the scoop that Thera is the Heart of Argent. That maybe the Heart of Argent was maybe the friends we made along the way. And she elaborates that no harm must come to her, and that she must be captured alive. She yaps about how she doesn't understand the extent of her own power, and how the ceremony must take place in the witch's world. Azric is like, Betty. We then get to play once more as John Doom, and we wipe out the first squadron of enemies with ease. We then get another addition to the arsenal, that being the rocket launcher. Now, I'll be lying if I said that I never really use this weapon, because I most certainly did in tough case scenarios where things looked spooky. It's honestly exponentially better than the grenade launcher, don't at me. Then, we get our next objective, take out the 2 Hellcat turrets. Why? I don't know, man, side quests. Dummies, getting them side quests achieved, bro. I respect it, I respect the grind, I respect the hustle. So done, we take out the Hellcats, and now Thera's telling us information. She's informing us, making us aware of the fact that there is another power core nearby that we can use to power a damaged Atlan. So we find the battery thing, take out some goons, and return to the mech. We power it up, and we open the doors for it, and head inside to go to King Azric, or Prince Azric's castle. Bro, I messed up so many lines. Prince Azric's castle to rip and tear through him and his army. We then place the battery inside of the Atlan mech, and we power it on successfully. We then go walking around hell and invade, trespass, antagonize even, by beating up the locals. We then find a conveniently placed giant shotgun and start, tearing into titans. We then exit the mech, and it's time to take a hike to Azric's castle to kill him. Who am I kidding? We're halfway through the game. We are not killing Azric right here, Lovro. We then get our next shield rune, which gives us the ability to summon sentinel daggers to rain from the sky and attack enemies once we parry them. Why is this found in hell as opposed to, I don't know, a sentinel base? We then take out an absolutely massive swarm of enemies. And this part of the game is when I realized that cyber demons in this game, weirdly enough, are more difficult than Agadon hunters, which I imagine was not the intent. But did anyone else notice that part about the game? Like, some of the scaling for the demons felt, weird to me in this game? I don't know. Maybe I'm just tweaking. But then we lower the gate to Azric's castle, and we head inside. We're getting ready to scrap, ready to throw. He's not here. He dipped. So we fight some goons and then leave. Chapter 12, Sentinel Command Station, opens with us looking at the Sentinel Command Station in Chapter 12. What? We go up an elevator. Editor Pojo, raise the elevator count by 1. And we walk through the command station and see Atlan's being fixed up. Sentinels being geared up, the whole kit and caboodle. We then enter a room and we're trapped because apparently demons somehow infiltrated the station. Oh, I wonder how. It was Bishop Creed. That cornball. We then break into the interior even further and escape the room where we were trapped in, allowing us to drop down into a conveniently placed combat zone among debris and ammo. So, we then take out the goof troop and continue on our merry way. We then flip a switch and look, more goobers. So we end their bloodline and continue. We then get a new gun, the Ravager, which is essentially a skull crusher, but the bullet spread is condensed way more, allowing for more damage targeted to a smaller cluster of enemies, rather than, fanning out and damaging enemies more lightly at once. This is the point where I completely gave up on using the skull crusher and started using the Ravager over it. Cause I don't know, man, something about that Ravager though got me. We then continue to rip and tear through the goofy troopers. Now, in this fight, we fight what's known as a Ballistatron, a subtype of Arachnotron, which has alloy armor, similar to the shields of the soldiers. But it also has another distinct feature, that being the mounted crossbow as opposed to the turret that an Arachnotron usually has. And in my old video from 1 year ago, where I talked about what I thought would happen in Doom the Dark Ages, I said this.
Another big change I think they should make is having demon variants. Let's say you have an Arachnotron, but there are different variants with different mounted weapons. Maybe a mounted flamethrower, minigun, or burst rifle. Just to spice up the gameplay a little bit. And these attributes can apply to every other type of demon as well.
So, I'm not saying that id Software took inspiration, but Bethesda, mind slipping me a few bit. But we take out the remaining forces and skedaddle out of there. Thera over the intercoms gives us a scoop on how we need to clear the flight deck and how there's demons overtaking the skies, and so we need to get into the air as quickly as possible. We run through some corridors and put the elevator count on by 1. Put the count on. We then do some insane parkour and are trying to retrieve a yellow key card to open something, I guess. Probably a door for something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't think that well right now. I'm hungry. Anywho, we get the thing we're supposed to get and we skedaddle out of there. We proceed to hop down an elevator shaft, which unfortunately does not count. But don't fret, dear viewer who is so desperately wanting to know how many elevators we go on in this game. You shall soon know. Soon. We then get another shield rune. Just sitting there. In a room. Here's something that you begin to learn about Doom over time. Stop asking questions. Just take in the cool stuff and say, hey, that's cool. And you'll love this game even more because of that. I'm not the kind of person that will, study every polygon of the Doomslayer's biceps to try and find the codex for a weapon that is in the ancient back scratcher. But one of you is. I know the kind of person you are. So with the ancient power of dipping our shield in rust water, we can now materialize a turret that will shoot enemies when we parry their attacks. This is by far my favorite shield rune, and the only one you should be using because everyone knows that I'm always right. We then backtrack with our new toys and assassinate all enemies in our path, butcher them, subdue them, neutralize them. Bleep them? And we then open a door with that yellow key card and hold up. These guys were behind the door the entire time. Couldn't they have just opened the door for me, like on that side? Nope. Don't ask questions. It makes too much sense. So Rot pulls up like the real one that he is, and Doom Guy pets him. W bros for real. We then fly out of the barracks to politely ask these goobers to leave our planet. By going from launch pad to launch pad, clearing them and asking nicely if they may please move out of the way. Our mission is to destroy tentacle weak points, I guess, because the demons have called upon those tentacles to attack the city. Gotta destroy the tentacles or else the world as we know it will be doomed in eternal darkness. See what I did? You see what I did? So we take out a ship and fly down to take out the first of the tentacles, allowing us to get that much closer to our end goal. We then exit the hangar we were in and take out a few demon aircrafts. And we go on a landing pad to take out a demonic portal, which is also a key part of our task, our mission, our destiny, if you will. And on this platform is the first time we encounter this game's version of the Cacodemon, a staple to the Doom franchise, and is probably the demon you remember the best. You know, unless you have PTSD from this guy. Comment if you're a real one and you get the channel reference. Anywho, I've been seeing people hate on this design for the Cacodemon, saying it doesn't look anything like a traditional Cacodemon. And you're right, because it's literally not a traditional Cacodemon. If you'd open your eyes and stop being a rage baiter, this is a medieval fantasy futuristic setting with an eldritch vibe with an incomprehensible horrors beyond your imagination. And unlike other demons in this game, the Cacodemons that we see come from a completely different dimension where Cthulhu originates from in this universe. Yes, Cthulhu canonically exists in this franchise, I'll talk about that later. So we destroy the first Hellgate. Yippee! We then boogie over to another hangar to take out another few demon aircrafts, allowing us to destroy another tentacle holding the city. We then proceed to find a giant brain lobotomy protecting the next landing zone. So we take him out. We land to fight a bunch of other goobers to destroy the Hellgate portal. We destroy the demons, destroy the last tentacle, freeing the city from the tentacle's grasp, until, oh me oh my, the tentacle kidnaps Thera and a big fat man. We are dropped off on a rando island to release a creature called the Old One, which originates from the Cosmic Realm, which is the place we need to go to in order to free Thera, and by releasing the Old One, it'll open a portal so that we can go to the Cosmic Realm. Yippee! Galen asks why this island has been hidden from them, and King Novik responds with,
I just didn't know it was here.
So, you're telling me that not a singular maker knows about the presence of the Old One under an island that clearly holds some level of significance, due to it being an ancient shrine on top housing an ancient cosmic horror. Yeah, that makes sense. The con maker definitely wouldn't know that this thing was here. Some demons drop in trying to stop us from releasing the Old One, but my presence, my aura, is too strong. And then we run into what is the final major non-boss kind of demon, that being the Komodo. And let me say right now, as cool as the Agadon Hunter is, the Komodo is definitely more of a challenge to defeat. It's more unpredictable compared to something like the Agadon, and once again, no shade to the Agadon. He's awesome. He's chill. I love fighting the Agadon. In comparison though, the Agadon is far more calm, polite, demure even. So we kill the Komodo, push a button, do a thing, and just like that, all the water surrounding the shrine is now emptied, revealing a giant prison for the Old One, with many different buildings lining the cage. To release the old one, though, we first have to break the chains and somehow obliterate the cage that is keeping him captive. Now, we get to travel with the Goat Surat. I like how this dragon section isn't primarily just flying. As cool as it is, I appreciate how, like, there was multiple landing locations, and we must, like, travel in order to release the old one. But we land on the first location and are greeted by, I lied! I actually initially landed at a super secret location. Hit up Imp Island and Decimate. Then we pull up to the first actual primary landing spot for the mission, where we have to run around the area, destroying enemies and awakening the beast. We start ripping and tearing until it's done, light work, literally no visible reaction. Then we unlock another area and go down an elevator. Up the count! We do a little boogie with some demons, and I do the thing I'm best at. Property damage. Then Thera tells us that we're making wonderful progress, and that the old one's vital signs are rising, and that we look so handsome, and I say... Then my boy Surat drops by to pick us up and drop us off at the next location. We arrive and get yet another shield rune, the Heaven Splitter. I really don't care, man. I really don't care. We run into some scallywags and decimate them with ease, and cause even more property damage. But the Doomslayer is based like that and doesn't care about lawsuits or being sued. He's just stacked like that. The old one is now one step closer to being released and now only needs one more holder to be broken, and then we're home free. We then land at our final destination and enter an abandoned ancient ship to destroy some demons and find some cool action figures. We also get a jump scare and we continue on our merry way. We run into some goons and absolutely disintegrate their being while going on some side quests. Quick side note, to anyone who uses actual guns against fodder in Doom the Dark Ages, I don't know how you do it, man. Like, it bothers me when I use anything else except for my shield when fighting fodder. It's more satisfying, more gratifying, and it conserves ammo. Bars. We pull a lever which does a thing, we go to the thing, bazinga, now we just have to break the actual container for the old one. Yippee! Surat the goat shows up yet again and helps bring us to this quote-unquote weapon that is powerful enough to free the old one. Amazing. Sublime. Splendiferous, even. We land, we do our thing, and do some parkour. We like fight a hunter, and then a lizard, and then we exit the building. We then proceed to open a giant gate that reveals the quote-unquote weapon that is a green crossbow. You know where this is going. Now, let me just yield like that. This isn't illegal, right? Now all we have to do is just release the chains restraining the beast down, I guess. But before that, the game is base enough to give us a ton of demons to kill to test out the BFC on. How mindful of its software, how thoughtful, how dim. We get going again, and I have noticed a big complaint that a lot of people surprisingly had with the Dark Ages, which is that, out of all things, people are complaining about the Slayer swimming, I guess. And that's when you know it's cooked, bro. Like, people are saying that they could never imagine the Slayer swimming in water. Brother, in Eternal, this man was swimming. These goobers, these goofers, these rapscallions. If your biggest issue with the game is that you couldn't imagine the main character swimming, then brother, you got other problems. But we get out of the water and hop on an elevator. But we jump around on various levels, taking out opponents trying to halt us, belittle us, stop us from releasing the old one, from achieving our destiny. But nah, I'm filled with determination. I need to release him. You know how we're gonna do that? By going up the elevator. We arrive back on top of the island to flip the final switch to release the elderly one. Nova gives us a rundown about how once we go through the rift via the old one, we'll receive the creed signals, and the makers will guide us to safety. We then proceed to release the old one, which is actually just Cthulhu. I wish I was kidding. It's literally just the eldritch horror that is Cthulhu. But the Doomslayer says,
Light work, no reaction.
and uses a shield saw to launch onto the creature to enter the rift into the cosmic realm where Bishop Creed and Thera were taken. You know what I'm gonna do? At the end of this video, I will also rank every chapter, every enemy, every weapon, just because I want this to be literally the Dark Ages review that you guys deserve. Anywho, we enter the portal and we let go from Cthulhu and spawn in some weird underwater tunnel. We get the word that we lost the signal of Creedmaker, but that we have the signal to Thera. All good, we ball. Quick thing to disclose for this chapter and the next few that precede it. If you hate swimming in this game, then you're probably not going to love these chapters. Sorry to say. Wait. Is that a random portal materializes that we must enter to find Thera, but we cannot enter it for now. So, we gotta go off and do some side quests. We jump from island to island until we eventually run to our next fight and get introduced to another new enemy for this game. That being the Cosmic Baron, who admittedly has a sick design, but I'll talk more at the end of the video about that. Anywho, the fight happens, we win since we're just based like that, and we break more private property. I'm noticing a pattern with the Slayer. And then the witch talks to us telepathically, I guess, and just trash talks us. Aight then. We fight some more and we run into another new enemy type, that being the Acolyte. Some weird witch-esque cosmic thing, I don't know bro. We do some more exploring and eventually fall into a room where we get the third and final addition to our melee collection, that being the Dread Mace. Easily one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. It just about like one-shots anything, and it's just absurdly strong. I'll stop the glaze though. For now. We open another door and do some more platforming, pretty simple stuff, but I appreciate them giving another shot for, puzzles and stuff for Doom. We then enter another big fight, this one honestly being one of my favorites in the entire game, probably just due to setting and amazing level design, which I've talked about here and there in the video, but I haven't talked about it, all yet with the Cosmic Realm. And honestly, this is where it stands out the most to me. It's so incredibly unique and interesting. I never knew I needed to experience something like this in Doom, but now that I have, I'm officially a very happy man. We enter a door, the witch yaps more and tries to trash talk more, and, she's failing miserably, but we solve a few puzzles and continue going through this very special area. We then arrive in the same room where we were in before when we got the Dread Mace and we gotta do some scuba diving. That's an elevator! We run into a few goobers and keep rushing. We eventually, island hop once more and get back to the main island. We enter a doorway and we begin the big fight of the chapter. Once we absolutely squad wipe the demons, we enter the portal to find Thera and bring her back in one piece. Our mission? To bring back Thera in one piece. But to do that, we'll first need to find two ancient relics scattered around Carthul marshes. Sounds simple enough, but this chapter is more open world based, meaning there's a lot more enemies and way more collectibles. But I'm not here to bore you, I'm here to entertain. So this chapter explanation might be a little short compared to how long it actually lasts. Apologies in advance. Not really, actually, I'm not sorry. This is my video. This is kind of my thing. However, I will talk about one aspect of this chapter that I loved, adored, cared for even. That being the extra secrets. In this level, these secrets were so well done. Not in the manner of them actually being difficult secrets or puzzles, but rather in presentation. With the Cosmic Realm, a place where down is up and up is down, you can do a lot with that, and they took it to the extreme, making infinite corridors for secrets where just going backwards will change and shift the entire perspective completely. It's honestly insane how much effort they put into this and how well it turned out. Genuinely one of my favorite video game levels of all time. But we defeat Hell Forces, protecting the first half of the artifact, we snatch it, and skedaddle from that area. We then progress to the next area, where the second half lies. But before that, the witch still be yapping in our ear about how the cosmos is dying and how her time has come. Brother, ain't nobody care about that. Are you the Doomslayer? I didn't think so. You're not the main character, pal. You're not that guy. Anyways, we fight the second force of demons who are protecting the other half of the artifact. But first, I'ma need that real quick. We then proceed to steal the artifact and enact more property damage. Man, someone should do a video of the amount of property, or like, I guess the amount of crimes the Slayer commits and how much he'd be charged. Once we, like, acquire the relic, we make our way back to the... Hang on, wait. Am I reading this right? We place the artifact in some goopy looking stuff. Ew. And a portal is spawned in. We exit the room we had entered through the portal, and we head outside and find some guards. And my gosh, the skyboxes look absolutely stunning here. Like there's no denying that. We see the next portal up ahead, and so we start making our way there. But we first run into some scallywags, some scoundrels. Some might even say rapscallions of sorts. We make our way to the portal that we saw and eliminate the rest of the goobers inhabiting the area. And we then enter the portal, then takes us to every gamer's worst nightmare. A social interaction. Nah, just the ocean, but like a cosmic version of it. Then we eventually find an underwater portal which leads us to another area where, who'd guess it, we fight more demons. We then do some traversal and run into a pre-battle before the big one of this chapter. We take out the goons and then proceed to give the rest of the demons the why I oughta. From there, we open the portal in the middle of the battlefield, allowing us to enter. And once we do, it's almost like an inverted dimension. Think of it like the Upside Down in Stranger Things, except this is a lot more green, more calm, beautiful even. I dare say. We fend off the hordes of demons and begin platforming from ship to ship as there's ships suspended in the air because, I don't know man, do magic. Once again, I just work here, bro. But we then proceed to enter another portal, which transfers us to another subsection in the underwater part of the cosmic realm. After swimming through shipwrecks and debris, we find ourselves going through yet another yucky blucky green portal, which now leads us to a different section of the cosmic realm, the entrance of the ritual for Thera. But before we can get to Thera, we first must defeat all the demons that Azric has sent to protect the ritual process for Thera. So we wipe the enemies and upgrade all of our various weapons before we ascend the Slayer's worst enemy, stairs. But as we activate the opening for the portal, or like the gate I guess, to access the stairs, something from under the water reaches up to grab us. Pause. Unpause. And it's Cthulhu who proceeds to digest us. What a way to end the chapter. We enter the gullet of the Old One and find some demons in there. Light work, no reaction, we're on demon time, we gotta find a way out of here. After destroying some hordes of enemies, we find out that punching some green intestines on the body, or I guess in the body, make Cthulhu have a bit of a stomach ache. So we go from room to room, clearing enemies and punching the insides of Mr. Cthulhu. Let me say one more thing about this game. The puzzles and missions may not be the most clever thing ever. Heck, they're not even super clever. But I appreciate how they do the secrets in this game. They may not be the most hidden or even have the best puzzles or like parkour, but for what it is, I find them to be entertaining. They have the system built in such a way where you can go from room to room, clearing out enemies as you wish, accepting challenges if you'd like. It's not a requirement by any means, but it's something they have, like, it's something they didn't have to do that I really appreciated on every playthrough of mine. And on every playthrough, I found something different and new, making this game immediately more memorable. Because nowadays, we don't get many games like this anymore where secrets are that big of a deal or play that big of a role in a game, so I honestly just really appreciate it for what it was. But anywho, we continue to clear out each room and eventually destroy every green biomass in Cthulhu's body. Now we just have to make it to the heart, or something like that, and destroy with a BFC. We pull out the BFC, and as we're about to kill the Old One,
Calamari this.
What does that even mean?
we exit his insides and find demons waiting for us. So we beat them, and Witch Lady yaps about how the Old One is dead and how it's our fault. Like, lady, next time, don't put your faith in a squid to stop us. We then finally backtrack to where we started, and once more face the Slayer's worst enemy, The game has been leading up to this entire time. We must stop this dark power in order to save Thea and the universe. An enemy so bold, it stares. We walk up all of the stairs, only to be rewarded by more demons to kill. Yippee! Once we rip and tear, we finally get to Thea, who is in a locked state due to the ritual beginning, meaning we cannot release her during this process. The Slayer attempts to grab her to help release her, but the Wraith Spear that protects her just touched him, stunning us. Then this Azra guy walks behind us and says,
Ah, yes. Her aura is too powerful. Even your Aura Slayer cannot exceed the power of Thea's unfiltered aura.
What do you mean?
I mean her aura. Her riz, if you will.
What are you talking about?
Her aura farming, you fool. She's been mogging non-stop. Our time has risen. Cause the truth is, Slayer, I get play.
No.
Oh yes I do, Slayer. And you wanna know who doesn't?
No. No, Azra, you can't do this.
Oh yes I can, Slayer. Time to drop the truth bomb on you.
"No!
His name starts with a D.
You can't do this! Not in front of the Huz!"
His name is the Doomslayer.
You wanna know what else starts with D?
No. Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it!
Don't say it!
D is not! So after that tussle, the witch completes the ritual and harnesses the power of the Wraith Spirit, completing the second half of the Heart of Argent. Azric is happy, thrilled, bodacious even. And once he obtains the power, the witch, Creedmaker, and Azric all dip out with Thera. We open to King Novik walking around his computer room or whatever, and he receives a transmission from Bishop Creed. Azric rocking that drip though. We see that the Slayer is being held captive by other Cthulhus because apparently there's more than one, I guess. Whatever the case, the Slayer grabs the tether that the Makers installed into his chestplate, and by doing so, he overpowers the squid's IQ rays. But in doing so, he falls into acid.
They are rage, brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear until it is done.
So now we're like super dead and have to roam around what is essentially the afterlife in order to find a way to be resurrected. Sounds pretty based. We eliminate some goobers and continue on our merry way. We do some platforming, find a key. Wait, this is a key? I mean, like, I ain't judging, but like, how does it work though? We do some more platforming puzzles, you get the idea. Something I gotta say about this level though, is that it looks super different from like any other Doom level I've ever seen. Like, it's so unique, I don't know, it's very, like, aesthetically pleasing. It was honestly just such a cool landscape to explore. 9 out of 10 world building. Only complaint is that there wasn't enough, like, I don't know. Does that equate to taking a point away? Yes. Why? I don't know. Anyways, we kill the things, walk up to a gate, and politely decline the offer of the nice old man. And we steer a boat into life or something. I don't know anymore, dude. I'm just chilling, having a good time. Is anyone still watching the video? Comment the timestamp if you've made it this far. I genuinely want to know who's insane enough to watch this much of this video. Like and subscribe. We find ourselves in a spooky woods, and I get resurrected by the Sentinels. But Rudroregi, the Slayer, doesn't like that he got resurrected by these means, so he's a little grumpy boy. We find our way back to the war and absolutely decimate this man, Azric's army. I'm going to be completely straight with you right now. That's about all there is to this chapter. There isn't like a lot of exposition or anything. Just fighting, not complaining, just saying. We take Surratt to the skies and land on Bishop Creed's ship. We confront the goober.
Please order a Big Mac. I beg of you, Azric.
What? No, you fool. You've already ordered 3 for me today. Use your own money.
Sir, please, I used all the money to buy Fortnite skins. I can't pay for a Big Mac. I promise I'll pay you back.
No can do, Bishop.
No!
Did somebody order a Whopper?
What? Who'd want to willingly eat a Whopper?
So we kill Bishop Creed, meaning the only other alliance that Azric has is with the witch. The Makers are out of the picture. For now. This is what I've been waiting for. The big build-up. The final battle. Azric summons his legions and commands the Titans to attack the city. But with the Atlan mech that Novik so kindly gave us, we'll be able to fend them off. This is essentially just a huge part of the game where we fight Titans. Very fun, I enjoyed it a lot actually, just not much to say about it yet again. Not until we fight.
What? It can't be. They revived Cthulhu?
Who saw that wacky move coming? So we literally kill Cthulhu, again, and fight Azric. All that trash talk, all that aura stealing. He even stole the Huz. And then he proceeds to kill Surratt? The goat? Nah, we can't let that slide. So we beat him, and we steal the Heart of Argent back. And the Huz? What is this, Christmas? But somehow, Azric escapes. So we gotta find him and bring him to justice. We round the troops and we take the fight to hell. We're launching a full-fledged attack, attempting to finish Azric once and for all. We wipe out hordes of enemies one by one. Enemy morale is down in the dumps since Azric lost all of his aura. Azric attempts to summon, send his full army, I guess, at us, but we are invincible. Azric attempts to make a run for it in his ship, the witch protecting him in the process, but the Slayer catches up. And now it's time for the actual final battle, which is not labeled the final battle. After a long brawl, we kill the witch, making Azric that much more vulnerable to our attacks. We eventually defeat him, and man, I just gotta play the cutscene. My explanation could not do this scene justice. I love this game. Enough to play it 8 times in the span of a month. On every difficulty, with no sliders, 100%ing the game. Is the story perfect? Absolutely not. Is the gameplay absolutely perfect? No. But this game is good and is fun, and at the end of the day, that's what I want from a game. For it to be fun. That doesn't mean it's devoid of criticism, but I just don't have a lot for the game, honestly. I don't know, it's just pure fun all the way through. If you didn't like this game, then I feel you, I hear you, but respectfully, I disagree, because I'm always objectively right. But overall, this was an amazing game. 9.5 out of 10, I honestly cannot wait for the DLC to drop. First, we'll be ranking weapons, and I'll give a few comments here and there about each one, and it's gonna go from worst to best. Starting with Roundfisher Rune. I'm sorry my guy, but you're not it. Heaven Splitter. What is there to say about you that hasn't already been said? I've seen better. Same with you, Holy Swarm. Same with you, man. You're not it, pal. You're not it. Now we're getting to the actual weapons that can be somewhat viable. The Power Gauntlet. It's weak, it's mid, it gets the job done, but there's better melee weapons. I know I've been hating on the Shredder for a lot of this video, but quite honestly, I hated the Accelerator more. Like, honestly, the bloom on this thing is so incredibly atrocious. This is the weapon I turn to the least, and I know you can upgrade it to, make the bloom a little, better, I guess. But dude, it's just not worth it, man. The grenade launcher serves its purpose when needed, but there's just a weapon that's better. The rocket launcher is the weapon that is better. The Shredder's hot dookie. Sometimes. I know I hated on it, but, with some further analysis, I can confirm that this thing isn't as bad as I originally stated. I'm sorry, Shredder. Combat Shotgun, it serves its purpose in the beginning of the game, and it's definitely viable, but once a certain weapon comes in, it's a super shotgun. You all knew that. It's going to be in first. I don't know what to... I can explain. The auto turret rune is based... Not as base as the flail is so good. It's fun and honestly is the most universal melee weapon in the sense of application and situations. Has a great range, solid damage, and it has an okay recharge time. For what it is anyways, it works. But not as much as the big bonk, the Dread Mace. It deals a lot of damage. The Ravager. It shoots skulls, so it's cool. The Pulverizer shoots even more skulls, but just in a more condensed area. It's cool. The Cycler is honestly my perfect pick for an assault rifle-esque weapon. It fills that role perfectly and is honestly super satisfying to use. Plus 5 points for how satisfying it is to use. The Chain Shot. Now this is a satisfying weapon. If the Cycler is satisfying in the normal sense, then the Chain Shot is satisfying in the manner that it will overload your senses. The Impaler. Absolute cinema. You may be asking yourself, Pojo, I thought you said the Super Shotgun was in first. Well, guess what? I lied! The Shield Saw is in first place. Yeah, this is literally everything I've ever wanted in a Doom game. This weapon is so perfect, and I love how the game was built around the entire idea of using this thing. Executed amazingly, awesome utility in it, and just wonderful replayability for the Shield Saw. Now for enemy rankings. Hell Cultist. They can't even fight you. Lost Souls. These guys suck. Moving on. Helltinks. These suck. Also moving on. Drones. They're literally the most boring fodder to eliminate in the game, which is difficult because somehow this game makes fodder interesting and fun to kill. But you'll see that later. Both tentacle types are the worst. They're so annoying, and I know most of the time they can easily be avoided, but man, they'll blend in and hit you when you least expect it. I don't know, I just don't like them. Stone Imps are just boring to fight, man. I don't know what to say. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but they're just boring. Something just feels off about the whiplashes in this game. I don't know what it is exactly. The Giant Cacodemon. It's a Cacodemon, but big. Moving on. I'll probably get hate for this, but the Cacodemon Hybrid. It's an awesome design, but man, it's so different from the normal Cacodemon, and not in the good way. I'm just not a fan of it, man. It feels so out of place to me. I don't know why. The Acolyte is interesting. I feel like we don't fight them enough to get a solid feel for them. I liked what I saw though, but something felt lacking on their front. We're just going to bunch all these titans together, including Cthulhu. They're fun to fight, but they don't change up too much between combat. Their presence, their aura even, stays the same. The Revenant. Nothing against the dude. There's just better ones on the list. The Imp is a fun opponent to fight in the sense that it has a solid counter to your shield. The thing that the entire game is centered around. And does it full on stop you? Not at all. But for what it is, I like how imps can be seen as slightly more dangerous in this game compared to its other counterparts in previous games. Man, screw the chain gunner. All my homies hate the chain gunner. But like, in a way that we appreciate him. The Valkyrie Demon is an interesting case in the fact that it's not, it's fun to fight. When you're in an optimal battlefield though. Your enjoyment when you fight this demon will be based on where you fight it. Like in a more enclosed space, you're gonna hate it. The normal soldier is cool, good fodder, and is super satisfying to throw my shields also, honestly, it's pretty based. Same applies here to the zombies. Nightmare Imp Stalkers are fun, and I appreciate their return. They're just a bunch of goofy goobers, I appreciate that, but there's just others on here that are better, man. This is where things start getting a little difficult, but I think I nailed it. Yes, Enhanced Azric is this low, I know, but he's just not the most fun to fight in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's cool, but I feel like a little more could have been done with the fight. Still amazing though. Next is the Bishop Creed's fight, which was actually a big standout to me. I was not expecting the fight to be this fun. The Arachnotron is so fun to kill in the game, they nailed it honestly. You know, I have the Cosmic Baron. He's honestly just fun to fight, nothing more, nothing less. Same thing applies to the Cyber Demon, I just like fighting bro a little more. Next we got the Mancubus, gotta respect the Dirty Bulk though. Then we got the final battle with the Witch and Azric. I honestly really enjoyed the different pace in this, that this fight had. It was enjoyable to be able to fight both opponents and fight their unique skill sets. Next we got the Agadon Hunter, super fun fight, but is outshined by one so great that it's Komodo. We then got the Shield Soldier. Bro, throwing the shield saw these guys is the most satisfying thing ever. We then got the Imp Stalker. Beginning medium demon and honestly one of the best in the series that they've ever given us. Bro, beyond that cut though. We got the GOAT, the Hell Knight, which only leaves the Pinky Rider. I just enjoyed how much this enemy could do and the different layers of fighting it. And that's the whole video. Thank you all so much for watching. It took me forever to make this video, so thank you everyone for being so patient. But before I go, I'd like to give you guys a Bible verse. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 3 through 4. Blessed be the God and Father of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we will be able to comfort those who are in affliction with comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. But anyways, Jesus loves you. Thank you so much for watching yet again, and as always, have a blessed night.